Hey everybody, welcome to the James and Joe Show. This is our first episode to feature a very special guest. We have with us tonight Kerry Daigle. Kerry's been in the Juice Plus world for a long time.
The Kerry Daigle.
The Kerry Daigle, not a Kerry Daigle. If you want to know more about him, go check out dreamsfairytales.com, or you can look him up on Facebook. Look for Dreams, Fairy Tales, and Miracles on Facebook and find more info about him. But we were going to pose some questions to Kerry tonight because he's a one and only. So, Joe, you got a thought there?
So one of the things we've talked about for all the folks out there watching is, one of the things that I love, I've always loved since being a kid, is surround myself with people that are wiser than me and older than me. And my dad always told me to do that, and I grew up that way, and I just always had lots of great mentors. And I even consider now getting to know Kerry over the last couple of years as a mentor of mine, and a lot of smart men that I've surrounded myself with. One in particular is the gentleman that I'm in business with, Jim Barksdale, who's a great guy and very successful businessman. And some of you might have heard some of the Barksdaleisms. It's sort of a word that's being coined out there of all the great sayings that he said when he was at FedEx, and of course, fast forward to Netscape. But anyway, I was thinking this weekend, I spent the weekend with Kerry and Mickey and others and some great Juice Plus folks at a boot camp, Danny and Debbie Martin. And the way Kerry talks, and I've gotten to hear him speak so many times, he has what I call the Daigleisms. So we thought we would have a series, and this is the one of probably a couple series to come on what I'm calling the Daigleism. So we're going to spread this thing around. And Kerry, one of my favorite Daigleisms, because it's close to what James and I get to do all the time, is when you talk about with new reps and you talk about it with mature reps, whether it be the virtual franchise up to the NMD, you always talk about and remind people and bring them back to the fact that how you say a conversation leads to an invitation that leads to a presentation. I just love how that and it's obviously real, and I think people need to be reminded of that. So I love, us to spend a little time, Kerry, you talking about sort of how that came about and your thoughts, because you've obviously been in the business, 28 years at Juice Plus?
We're in our 28th year, yes.
Wow. Yeah, so again, a conversation leads to an invitation, which leads to a presentation.
Well, it's real simple. It's you have to warm up with your prospect first, of course, and before you can get them to purchase Juice Plus or even join you in the business. And what we see a lot of people do is they move directly into a presentation. And that's like asking someone to marry you on your first date. That person's going to run away from you absolutely just quickly. So you've got to maybe do the cards and send the flowers and do some of the nice things, take them out to dinner and so forth. And if things work out, maybe that question could pop up and you could get into the presentation and ask for that other partner of yours to marry you, of course. Mm-hmm. But the same thing in business. I mean, we see a lot of people jump right into a presentation. They want to ask people to marry them right away. And the magic is in the conversation. And conversation means this: the prospect speaks 75% of the time and you speak 25%. By asking good questions so that you can get to know your prospect really well. And once you start developing a really good conversation, then eventually that will lead to an invitation. An invitation could be an event that could be on Zoom. It could be a live event. It could be a video link that you send to them. That's an invitation for them to look a little further and get to understand exactly what you do in our business. And then it leads into what we call the presentation. And I think if you do that, you're going to have a lot more success. I know. What I'm really excited about, James and Joe, is the fact that Soundboard through the Edge theory is available. Listen, when we started in 1989, we didn't even have a computer. And the thing, I'm in your living room right now, both of you, through this computer. And yet I can talk to anyone across the globe the same way I'm speaking to you now. We didn't have that. And again, in speaking to prospects, you have to kind of wing it. You know, you had to maybe look at a script that might work, and it wasn't really who you were. You weren't having a conversation because you didn't know what kind of conversation to have.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what to say. You were brand new. You were just starting the business. Some of us that are entrepreneurs have the innate ability to go out and find a way to get the conversation going. That's even before the advent of the computer, and be able to move forward and find some success along the way. But most people don't have the ability to do that. Well, Edge Theory and Soundboard, what you guys offer now, is a way to create conversations through social media and every outlet. I include text to social media. I mean, of course, you've got Facebook and Twitter, and you've got Instagram and LinkedIn, and we could go just down the list, but you have the ability through Soundboard to have good information that you can copy and send to people to create conversations. You can actually speed up the process of finding more prospects much quicker, much faster, and talking to more people per day, per week than when we started. Look, James, we used to have to go see a person at, I don't even believe we had coffee shops there. We had to go see a person
McDonald's
live in person, and then we have to go out and find another person to go see, and we have to continue to do that and try to see as many people as we can a day live and in person to be able to build the business. That was in 1989 when we first started, and I'm kind of aging myself, and look, I didn't live in the dinosaur age, but compared to what we have today, it was the dinosaur age. Today, a person can now develop a conversation and not know a whole lot. A brand new person can sign an application and through Edge Theory and Soundboard, create a conversation and then send an invitation, which is a video link, or an invitation to a live event where the presentation will be held, and it may not even be presentation by a new person. So that's the power of what we do. So yes, conversation should lead to an invitation, which leads to a presentation. And if you follow it in that order, you're going to have a lot more success. Your closure rate's going to go up. But remember one thing, conversation means it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay? It means that, like tennis, I hit the ball to you, you hit the ball back to me. But most of the time, the person, your prospect, needs to be speaking 75% of the time. And you've got to get good at asking good, solid questions. Now, don't interrogate them. I mean, you're not a member of the FBI or the CIA. Don't interrogate them. Just ask some good, solid questions. Family, occupation, what they like to do as far as having fun, hobbies, and so forth. Ask some good questions. Get to know them. And before you know it, you find out they have a sister and a brother that lives in New Jersey. They have another family member that absolutely is in the health industry, lives in another country. All of a sudden, you're finding out through this conversation that you've got now prospects all over the world. They have no idea that you just asked the right questions, and you find out there's potential prospects, not only for the product, but for your business.
Yeah.
So that's so important, James and Joe, real important.
Well, I think, and also you mentioned about how, as you think about conversation, which leads to that invitation, which leads to that presentation, then conversation also leads to retention, right? It's not only once you get that invitation and then that presentation, then what I think so awesome, how you always talk about, and Danny, you talk about how it's obviously it's easier to keep than to get. So customers, so how do you use that great conversation to also nurture? I mean, that's what's so powerful on the retention side.
Well, you use Soundboard for that also. I mean, you can go on Soundboard, once you get accustomed to it, you go on Soundboard, you can pull out something on health, you can pull out something on fruits and vegetables, you can pull out whatever you want, something standard to keep them educated so that they can move forward and continue to take the product, and your retention goes up. I went to a seminar not that long ago. I went to a seminar, and this guy that brought me, a multi-millionaire. And this gentleman, probably making $3-4 million a year residually, and went to this seminar, and we sat on the front row. And I'll never forget this. Jim Rohn, who's deceased, was speaking. And Zig Ziglar happened to be there also as a potential speaker. And Zig Ziglar is about motivating. He kept saying over and over, you got to motivate them. You have to motivate them. And Jim kept saying, you have to educate them first, educate them first. And they would get in a little kind of a dispute, kind of, you know, talking to each other. No, you got to educate. No, you need to motivate. And finally, Jim closes it with this, and I'll never forget this. He says, well, he says, if you don't educate them and you only motivate them first, you've got a motivated idiot. So I really like that. I got a lot out of that. So education is important. I think Soundboard comes in and can help educate people too on the benefits of good nutrition.
Well, James is the educator. I think, James, we're on our next session. We got one. We're going to work with. We got a good Daigleism about education coming up.
That's right. We'll focus on that next time.
All right,
All
James.
right. Yeah. Well, thank y'all for joining, Kerry. Appreciate your wisdom, and we'll see you next time on the James and Joe Show.
Good night. Keep punching.
Thanks, guys.